Hello everyone and welcome to It Goes Off. I'm Andrew Gaze, this is Grantley Bernard, and round 17 had a touch of sadness about it because it was a round where one of the all-time greats, Glen Saville, the Wollongong Hawks stalwart who's just been an ornament to the game, has unfortunately announced his retirement due to a knee injury. 19 seasons in the NBL, just a fantastic career, Grantley Bernard, and well, it is a little sad that when you lose a player of his quality, and in fact, we're going to talk to Glen Saville a little later in the program, but firstly, Grantley, just a couple of words on the great man.
Oh, look, it's probably a bittersweet time because, you know, he had talked about retiring at the end of the season, and I guess it was taken out of his own hands a little bit and it was forced ahead of time, so premature retirement in some regards, albeit by a few weeks, but it would have been nice, I guess, to finish it off under his own steam rather than be forced out. And look, you know, I think in a lot of ways, Sav's he's almost, I think, been a little underrated in some ways because he's probably played in Wollongong the whole time and, you know, he's not...
Well, he played in Sydney for a fleeting moment, yeah.
So he's one of these guys that doesn't really seek the spotlight with the way he plays. He's probably the glue that's held Wollongong together for many, many years.
Two-time Olympian as well, so we congratulate him on a fantastic career. And as I said, stay tuned because we're going to actually talk to Glen Saville and just get a brief glimpse of his wonderful career as well. But perhaps the announcement of Glen Saville may have sparked the Wollongong Hawks back into action because they have just been decimated with injuries, an unbelievable injury toll they've had to deal with this season. But they bounced back against the Adelaide 36ers, and Grantley talk us through all the winners and losers in round 17.
We certainly will. The Hawks did get a win, but before they got their win, the New Zealand Breakers made it 10 straight. They are the Bo Derek, the perfect 10.
Ooh.
The Breakers 98 over the Perth Wildcats 81. That was the top of the table clash in Auckland, and it turned out to be a little lopsided by the final buzzer. Cedric Jackson, 22 points, 8 assists for the Breakers. New Zealand went 63-37 over the middle two periods to take control. They shot 14 of 28 on three-pointers. That game we mentioned, Adelaide 78, the Wollongong Hawks 86. For the Sixers, Daniel Johnson, 21 points and 7 rebounds on 8 of 11 field goals. It was 44 points to 22 in the paint. For the Hawks, our man, Malcolm Grant had 21 points. The Townsville Crocs 90, the Sydney Kings 78. Michael Cedar, 18 points and 8 rebounds. James Harvey, 14 points for Sydney. The Crocs just keep on coming. The Melbourne Tigers, they've got another win on the board and starting to really put the pressure on Wollongong in the top four. 67 over the Cairns Taipans, 64. Johnny Flynn had 21 points. The Tigers' third quarter was 24-14. That one got things on track. Finally, the Perth Wildcats straight back on the winning bus. 80 to the Wollongong Hawks, 52. Sean Redditch, 19 points for the Wildcats. Perth went 45-14 in the second half. Wollongong 14 points in the second half. Adrice Delion had 14 points for the game.
That is talk about coming back with a thud. The Wollongong Hawks got thudded in the second half with only 14 points. Extraordinary stuff. But well done to the Perth Wildcats in the way they were able to bounce back from that loss and the trouble they had to do going to New Zealand. Grant, let's take a look at the NBL ladder and have a look at this. 8-team competition and only 2 teams with winning records. The New Zealand Breakers, they've done a lot of the heavy lifting already this season. They've played 21 games, 18-3. And yep, they've won 10 in a row. White hot. And the Perth Wildcats just still hanging in there at 14-5. The Sydney Kings, they've been on a bit of a losing run of late. And they're 10-11 for the first time this season, or first time in many weeks I should say. They've now got a negative record. And the Wollongong Hawks just hanging on at 9-11. The Melbourne Tigers, they are looking like they are the team to threaten the top 4. Don't discount the Townsville Crocs either at 7-12. And in fact, they've been 7-2 in their last 9 games. In this program we mentioned at the top, it's a very special edition because we're going to talk to Glen Saville, and we're going to talk to him in a little segment we call kick it off. One of the all-time greats last week, unfortunately due to injury, Grantley had to retire, and I speak none other than the great Glen Saville, and he's been kind enough to join us on the phone today. Glenn, congratulations on a fantastic career, but firstly, can you just let us know exactly what happened? Because I've seen some highlights of it, and all I saw you was just limping away.
Well, I don't exactly know when I tore the cartilage in my knee when it actually happened, because it didn't really hurt. All I know is just when I was sort of running back on offense that it was very jammed up, felt like it had rocks in it, and I just knew that straight away there was something wrong. So the scan showed that I had fairly significant cartilage tear on my lateral femoral condyle, and I had some the lateral meniscus has got a tear in it as well. So the condyle ended up with about 15 millimetre tear, which is fairly significant. I had the exact same injury in 2006, and it took a lot of time to come back from. So unfortunately, that was it. You
were obviously a younger man back in 2006, Sav. You, I think, up to 37 in birthdays now. Had you decided to call it quits at the end of this season, or did the injury, fashion the future for you?
It was always my intention to retire at the end of the season. When I re-signed at the beginning of this season, 1-year contract, I knew that was going to be it for me. Just unfortunately, I just didn't get there, and I never really contemplated, the fact that I had that injury, that I'll just add one more to it. I knew, and you just made the comment then, I was 30 years old when I did the first injury, and at 37, with all the grey hair and wrinkles that I have, there's no way I'm coming back from that. So, so that was it, unfortunately.
Sav, when we look over your resume, it's a pretty impressive one at that, couple of Olympic Games and just an incredible NBL career. What has been the highlight for you?
Without a doubt, it's got to be the championship in 2001. Having played for the team, for 6 or 7 years before that, and had a lot of tough years along the way, and the fact that we could bring a championship back to Wollongong and what it meant to the city, and what it meant to the Illawarra was pretty special. So I've been asked that question a fair bit, and without a doubt, that's always the first thing that springs to mind, because there's no greater feeling than going through a season with your mates and and achieving what we achieved that year.
Sav, you mentioned the 19 years, and for 18 of those 19 years you've been a Wollongong Hawk, and you had one season with the Sydney Kings. Is there any part of you that wishes that you hadn't had that 1 year in Sydney, that you had have played all 19 years with Wollongong?
Do you know what? Not at all. And the Hawks fans probably wouldn't appreciate me saying that, but when I did come back from Sydney, they did welcome me back with open arms. But not at all. I got the opportunity to play a season with Brian Gorge and to play in a program that really raised the bar, and even at my age then, I was 32, 33. It was a very challenging year physically, and we talk about training loads and things like that. But I played on a team that went 27-3 and had a very tough final series against the Tigers, going for 5 games, and just the opportunities that it brought. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I did get paid good money to go and play there, but I thought at the time, for me, I've played here for 13 years, I still thought that was a brave decision to go and do something that I was not familiar with. I'd always been familiar with playing with Wollongong. I always knew that I'd be back here at some stage, whether or not, whether I'd finish playing up in Sydney. Unfortunately, that finished after a season and the club folded, but, those opportunities up there and getting out of the gong for a year, and I really loved my time up there.
Do you hope to remain in basketball, or you had enough, it's time to try something different?
I think so. I think I get asked that question quite frequently, would I remain with the team? I think in any capacity. I think it's it is very time consuming being involved in basketball at this level, and I think along the way I wouldn't mind helping out with junior programs and stuff here locally in Wollongong, which I think would be a lot of fun. I'd probably go for this 16 to 18-year-old so I can yell and scream at it a bit more. I don't want to make any kids cry or anything like that. So,
good luck.
Like you do, probably, Andrew.
Oh, occasionally. They get over it. They get over it.
I just think it's time to I was sort of contemplating a bit of a gap year, and got some young kids, at 2.5 and 6 months old and plan some more. And my wife's a go-getter. She's very career orientated, so I'll let her be the breadwinner, and I'll just see how things go. I have done some work in the past in the media with Win TV, so hopefully I can continue something along those lines and just do various things locally. But at this stage, just finish out the season with the boys and do all my rehab after knee surgery, and then just see what comes my way and just see how I can handle all this idle time.
Sav, if I could give you one small piece of career advice, it would be let the wife go to work, put the kids into creche, and you be the stay-at-home dad.
Yeah, well, the young fella's started preschool 2 days a week, so hopefully the surf's good on those days. I'll be out there.
Perfect. Hey, Sav, congratulations on a fantastic career. The league is worse off to not have you in it, and it's going to be hard for the Wollongong Hawks and the NBL to recover from just a quality player, a great ambassador for the game, and we are sad to see you move on, but we congratulate you on an unbelievable career and wish you all the very best for the future.
Thanks very much, guys.
Good on you, Glenn. Grantley, each and every week we love to get the feedback from the viewers at home, just sitting there on their computer and checking us out. And
they might be at work.
Pardon me?
They might be at work.
True, they might be at work. If it is, just hide us, turn the volume down, because I'm not sure.
We're safe for work.
Are we safe for work?
Yeah.
Oh. In a little segment we call the Mark Zuckerberg Minute, which usually goes more than a minute, but nevertheless, it's where we get your feedback. Hit us on the Twitter, Andrew Gage 10 or Grantley Bernard, or the NBL Facebook page. Punch us out a question and we'll do our best to tackle some of the more insightful ones. The abusive ones, leave them alone, because we just park them to the side. We're going to start off this week with Nick Godsall, a favourite of ours here on It Goes Off. Nicky's just prolific and we love that.
He is more regular than All-Brown, Nick.
Correct. Apart from the obvious answer of Lish and Jackson, which of this year's import crop do you believe should be massive priorities for their team to resign for next season? Now, for mine...
Scott Christopherson.
No, I'm not sure he would be a priority. Seth Scott, I think, would be one for the Melbourne Tigers and the NBL. I think has been a fantastic player. Johnny Flynn is another one with the Tigers because of his profile and what he's been able to do on the court.
Probably a little harder to lock down, though.
It is a little harder. I think Gary Irvin for the Townsville Crocs. We lost him there for a fleeting moment. He started with the Wollongong Hawks. I think he's been fantastic. Any other suggestions you would have?
Oh, look, I like Jamar Wilson. I'm not sure if he's got an extended deal in Cairns, but I like Jamar. And if I think the Sydney Kings could do a lot worse than re-sign their two imports. I think they've been pretty solid. And, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And with the import situation, you'd certainly get a lot of devils you don't know.
Well, here's one that's not even in the competition right now, but I liked what I saw when he was in Australia, was Michael Dunnigan. He is one that I would have thought could be a priority for a number of teams, because quality big men do not fall out of trees, Grantley. They don't. They are very hard to find. So he would be one for the entire league that hopefully that he'll get another opportunity. And lastly, Grantley, Lachlan Gaffney, he hit me on my Twitter, Andrew Gage 10, and he wants to know...
Would have been nice to get someone talking to you on Twitter.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Who are your favourites for the Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man and Best Defensive Player? Now, this is a timely question because it's just been announced that the NBL, WNBL, Basketball Australia Awards dinner is going to be held on the 24th of March at the beautiful Crown Casino in the spectacular Palladium Room. And this has been a night to remember the last couple of years. 2 years ago we had Guy Sebastian. Last year we had Timo Matic. And this year we can announce on this program that Samantha J. Now this young lady is a sensation. She is top of the pops at the moment, and she has got some wonderful ditties going on out there on the airwaves. She's going to be banging out some tunes on the 24th in the Palladium Room. The joint is going to be rocking. So get your tickets and come along and rub shoulders with basketball royalty, but also have a look at Samantha J and have a listen to her, even more importantly, because she is a beauty.
Have a listen to her ditties.
Have a listen to her ditties. Now, Rookie of the Year, Grantley, who I'm leaning towards Cameron Glidden from the Cairns Taipan's. He's been played a lot of minutes and been very, very good. Who are your favourites for the Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, Sixth Man and Best Defensive Player? Now, this is a timely question because it's just been announced that the NBL, WNBL, Basketball Australia Awards dinner is going to be held on the 24th of March at the beautiful Crown Casino in the spectacular Palladium Room. And this year we can announce on this program that Samantha J. Now this young lady is a sensation. She is top of the pops at the moment, and she has got some wonderful ditties going on out there on the airwaves. She's going to be banging out some tunes on the 24th in the Palladium Room. The joint is going to be rocking. So get your tickets and come along and Nate Tomlinson is another rookie that, of late, has really starting to step up.
Yeah.
Have you got any?
Not a big rookie crop. I think there's probably only 7 or 8 actually eligible for the award. But those two would be around the mark.
Most improved, Grantley. I'd say that Ben Madgen surely is the runaway leader at the moment. I can't see anyone catching him.
No, but I think there are other candidates, and I guess if you want one from left field, another Sydney King may well be the veteran Ian Crosswhite.
That's a very good call, Grantley. He's had a fantastic season, but he's had some good ones in the past, so I'm not sure his leap in improvement has been as good as what...
No, he improved a lot from week 14 to week 15.
It was exceptional, exceptional. Also, other ones... Todd Blanchfield. I like this kid. I sing his praises often. Up there with the Crocs. He had a tough start to the season, the team, but he was one of the shining lights. And another one, Lucas Walker, I think has made some positive
I don't agree with that one. But I like Reece Martin at Wollongong. I think he's really stepped his game up this season.
Very good call. Six-man award. I know he starts right now, but the Sydney Kings, Tommy Garlett was coming off the bench and doing some very good things. It's hard to go past, though, the New Zealand Breakers and what they're doing. And Will Hudson, I know he has started a couple of times, but he's also primarily been coming off the bench. He's been very good. And Dylan Boucher, the veteran, the KG veteran. Geez, you'd love to have a Dylan Boucher on your roster.
Oh, yeah. KG's probably being polite. Yeah.
And lastly, Defensive Player of the Year. I don't even know why we have this category. Who cares? But anyway, no, I say that in jest.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
No, you don't.
No, you're right. I don't. Damien Martin he's prolific. He's always mentioned in this category, Grantley, and he again will feature prominently. But again, you look at the champions up there, and you got the Perth with Damien Martin and the New Zealand Breakers. Mika Vicona does a terrific job. He's a blue-collar worker, rebounds well, and plays some fantastic defense.
I mean, the other one, Cedric Jackson's no slouch at the defensive end of the floor either.
Good point.
And probably one for the Tigers may consider Seth Scott.
Now, Grantley, some very good questions coming off the social media. Now it's your privilege to tell us who is going to pick up the prize this week, and it's a $100 Skins voucher.
Dylan Boucher.
The Dylan Boucher is going to go to who?
We're going to give the $100 Skins Dylan Boucher to Lachlan Gaffney.
Lachlan Gaffney, stay tuned. We'll try and get in contact with you. But if you haven't heard from us in a little while, just be a little concerned and perhaps send us an email or drop us a line and we'll get you the $100 Dylan Boucher to you. It's to Skins, quality products, fantastic gear. Round 18 is almost upon us, Grantley, and it's going to be an important round as we try to figure out. There's really 5 teams vying for the remaining spots in the finals. You've got Perth locked in, New Zealand locked in, 5 teams battling out, and Adelaide are gone. Tell us where all the action's going to be in round 18.
All the action, and this is big when it comes to shaping the playoffs. On Friday night, the Wollongong Hawks against the Melbourne Tigers. So 4th place could change hands with that game. Then out in Perth, it is 2nd place Perth Wildcats against the basement-dwelling Adelaide 36ers. That is your game on 1 at 9:30 right around the nation. On Saturday, the Sydney Kings with a massive home game against the New Zealand Breakers, and the Townsville Crocodiles against the Cairns Taipans. The Reptile Rumble, that one is going to be big for both teams and their playoff chances. I would think if Cairns lose that one, you can put them in the Adelaide category of cooked. Then on Sunday, the Sixers are back at home and they are against the Melbourne Tigers. And would you believe it, they are on TV yet again. That is on 10 at 2.
Grantley, each week we need to say thank you to those that support us and this wonderful competition. It all starts with a naming rights sponsor.
IINet.
Connect better.
10.
And 1.
Sporting.
ANFA.
And Virgin Australia.
It's been a terrific show. Thanks to Glen Saville for taking the time out to talk about his wonderful career. It's an exciting time of the NBL. We're getting to the very, very pointy end of the season. So get out there and support your team and enjoy this great game. We look forward to your company next week on the #1 podcast in the universe. There's a few others making a charge, but we're still hanging on. And it's called It Goes Off.